Carousel Productions at it again with Shrek the Musical coming up in April. Very exciting. I'm so glad to have Mary Beth and Dan Coons join us to tell us all about it. What an undertaking.
It is. When we decided to do it, you know, Carousel's always just kind of been brave, I have to say, or I don't know, there might be a different word, Dan.
Like to be challenged.
We do like a good challenge, and we felt like that we had both the performers and the people for our technical side, which is just as big as the performers and musicians and the dancers. So yes, we are doing Shrek the Musical. We are really excited about it.
So both of you play a big part in it. Let's talk about what part you're playing in the production.
Well, you know, in years past, I've done a lot of, you know, roles. I am playing like multiple roles in this. When you get to a certain age, roles become a little bit harder, you know, like the lead roles and things like that. And you just want to be so much part of it. And the ensemble is part of it. So like I'm actually three different things, multiple roles, which for the most part, that's how almost everybody in the show. If you're not one of the 4 or 5 leads, you are doing everything. I came home the other night and told my husband that I felt like I'd been at a 4-hour Zumba class. And that's just about how all the rehearsals are, because it's so much movement and going, and you're running, and oh, I'm this now and that later. So that's what my role is. I also always help Carousel with the marketing part, just getting the word out about it. And we do have a new director this year in Amy Johns. Amy is from Macon, Amy Pastrovich Johns. And early on we said, you know, Amy, we will be with you. We're going to be right with you. So I've helped, I hope I've helped, been kind of a sounding board basically for Amy.
Kind of passing the torch. And
it's wonderful to have new people come in and to do this and take those lead roles. We need that.
Mm-hmm. So Dan, you've got a really big part as well. Mary Beth said something about the production of it. So tell us about what you're involved with.
Well, most people have no idea of how much goes on beforehand and behind the scenes to make a show go. And as Mary Beth said, it's every bit as important, and there are as many people involved, and it takes a lot of different skills and talents. We have been tasked with, and that we being Lee Simon and myself, with constructing the dragon.
The
for
dragon.
Shrek. This dragon is 10.5 feet tall, and maybe even a little bit closer to 11, I'm not sure. The head weighs about 115 pounds, we're estimating. We know it's about 100 pounds just for the head without the lower jaw.
Oh,
so when we add the lower jaw on, we've got that. And it's a very big beast. She will have eyelids that flutter, she'll have eyes that light, she'll blow smoke, assuming that everything works anyway. And the head will pivot and turn side to side. So it's been a big undertaking. There are no blueprints for doing a dragon.
So you're on your own, kind of.
We went on the internet, we looked at a lot of things, we patterned as much as we could after the Broadway dragon. Of course, Broadway had the opportunity to spend a year in development with a professional puppet company and probably an unlimited budget. We've done it as cheaply as we possibly could with all kinds of salvaged things, but we've made it to this point. We had the head spray foamed. Nick Bloomberg did that for us, and Janice Teeter and Lee Simon were there as he was doing the spray foaming. And he was more of a perfectionist, I think, than they were, and I just stayed out of the way and let them go. But we ended up with a really, really beautiful dragon.
And it's all mechanical.
And it's mechanical. Now, the dragon is just one aspect, though, of what it takes to put on a show. So there's so much else that goes into it. There are amazing costumes and probably hundreds of props that people carry on that had to be made. And it just goes on and on. And then, of course, there's always set construction. And it usually is said, well, this is a fairly simple set. It won't take very much. And then by the time you get done, you've spent quite a bit more time than you thought you would. And it's a little more complicated than anybody thought it would be.
And really, you started back in November with the ideas and the concepts.
Oh, yeah, probably even a little bit further back than that. I don't know when Dan and them started, but yeah, it takes, probably during the summer we started, you know, just thinking about it and what was going to have to be done. So yeah, it takes a long time.
But yes, just conceptualizing the dragon, we started in November, and then we just gradually started building pieces, and, it's without a blueprint. You go through trial and error, and you try something and it doesn't quite work, and so you go to the next step and you keep trying until something does come through and work. So
This was probably one of the first times I've ever seen where we had to have our makeup people, our prop people, and our costumer just get together and say, okay, how are we going to do this? So you take Shrek's costume, I mean, there are several different pieces to that. One person that's doing the costume, the head, and all of that had to be special ordered. It's just been a road that we had never been down, and so it's been a bit of trial and error. But what we're seeing, you know, of course, at the practices, we're very excited, and we've got some very. Besides these guys who do this, which I'm just always amazed, and I think I've said this probably on here, that, you know, we have all these tech people, and I just even hate to point out one person, but who do this simply because they love to do it. They're not on stage. They're not going to get the applause like the actors, the musicians, the dancers. They do it because they love this community. They love that this is community theater, and it really just takes our whole town to be involved in this and to do it, and we are so appreciative and so humbled by that.
Yes, and how many people you bring into town to come and see this, and they can forget about life for a while and just enjoy
Yes.
the production.
And that's what Shrek will do. It's a fun show. It's just
Family-oriented.
Yes,
the whole
very
family.
family-oriented.
And one
So-
of the things that I think most people that come to see Carousel shows know, but if they haven't had the opportunity to compare, they would find that Carousel really does produce very, very high-quality shows. It's amazing. My wife and I have gone to many communities much larger than Macon and watched community performances that were not at the level that Carousel usually is. And Carousel is about as close as you can have to professional production without having professionals.
And probably because the commitment's been there from the beginning. And people like Dan and myself, and many, many, many other, Rhonda Smith, who makes unbelievable costumes, Kathy Nelson, who does the choreography, Beth Dixon. I hate, again, to start naming names, but people who have been there for so long and doing it, and you just can count on them when you give them a call.
And not only the commitment, but the talent.
Yes.
They have the talent.
Yes, they have that talent.
And they share it.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's
So
a
talk
wonderful
about the
thing.
cast members.
I would like to do that. As I said earlier, besides the ensemble, which is filled with veteran Carousel people, plus we have a really nice mix of high school and younger people, which we're really excited to have. But we have basically 5 main characters. Shrek is played by Joel Vincent, who's been in several Carousel shows. He was in Les Mis. He did Valjean and that. From Kirksville, we have Heather Dara, who is playing Princess Fiona. Wonderful talent in Heather and a wonderful person. Also from Kirksville is Alan Altmansberger. Alan is playing the most fantastic donkey that you can imagine. He is just a joy to watch. He will entertain everyone. So we're really excited about that. Steve Wilhoit is playing Lord Farquaad. And if you know anything about the show, Lord Farquaad is a pretty small stature, and so Steve is going to be a very little person in this show. Tony Riggenberg, which is very interesting because we have this big dragon, but Tony is the voice of the dragon, and she is actually seen there with the dragon. It's how you kind of play that. So those are basically who I would say are the 5 lead, very visible all the time. Everybody else is just everywhere.
And trying to coordinate that would be an awesome.
It has. Kathy Nelson with choreography has had a very, very large role in this because the ensemble, dancing ensemble, is on stage almost as much as the leads. I mean, it's very interesting that way how it plays out. So.
And it is a musical. It's lots of
musical. It is the musical. Fun music. We've had a great time with the music, because it is fun. It's just fun stuff. People will leave singing. I sing it in my head all night. I can't sleep.
And I would add that last night as I was there, so we could look at how we needed to change the structure for the Fiona Castle or Keep, the 3 Fionas were singing. Just fantastic.
Incredible.
Just
Yeah.
incredible.
From the
Really,
little ones.
really awesome. And that in itself will be worth the price of admission, let alone all the other things that will happen. And there are so many great performances. Donkey.
That's-
Just Donkey is worth the price of
Yeah,
admission, no
that's right.
question. Shrek will be. It's just amazing.
So it's a must-see. It's happening in April.
It is happening in April, yes. And I do want to say one more thing on the scene design. We wouldn't have a scene design if it wasn't for Todd Davison. He always brings his really unique ideas, because a lot of times you look at a script and you think, how are we going to get this on stage? And Todd really just has that vision and makes it work for us. So we're really thankful to him as well.
However, what the audience won't know is how crowded it is off stage to hide all the pieces that have to come on, because it will be very, very crowded. But
That is
that's all right. We will make it work. So,
That is
Yeah,
right.
and they won't know
nope.
any difference in how, we got cast members coming on and off and here and there, and
That's right.
it all
That
comes
is right.
together.
And again, you just hate to miss anyone, but I want to send a shout out to Jean Fouquet, Jean Marie. She's our producer basically for the show. So she makes sure that's her job, is just to kind of touch base with every aspect and make sure that it's going. So
Well, you got a little bit more time. It's April 7th
Yes.
and 9th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And
Correct.
added this year something
yes,
new.
we added a 7th performance. We feel like that we will have large crowds. And so we have a Sunday matinee on the first week on that 9th. Then we've added a Saturday matinee on the very last day, the 22nd. So we have both a matinee on that 22nd and an evening performance, which will be probably pretty challenging for everyone.
Wow,
But,
that's very demanding.
yeah. The tickets are $10. They are general admission, Donna. And you can get those tickets at Macon Atlanta, at the Royal Theater, at Pringer's and CNR. If you're watching from the Huntsville, Salisbury area, they are at the Moberly Chamber of Commerce. And also, we have a phone number that's for out-of-town patrons. They can call and reserve those tickets at 660-676-2892. So
And tickets are on sale now.
they are on sale now. Get out there and get them. We are anticipating crowds, lots of kids. So we're excited about that.
It is very exciting, and it's, a lot of work being put into it, and it's something that, it's a must-see. It's one of those must-see. This is something that everybody that must-see. It's a...
That is right. That is right. The costumes, just everything.
It will be a great show.
It will be a great show, so get your tickets, come out, support the Carousel production, and all the many people that are involved.
That's right.
Young kids, very young kids.
Yes. Yes. The song From 1 to 92, we almost have that. Not quite. Not quite. But we do have little bitty ones up to our veterans, and so that have been with us since the beginning. So that's nice.
Well, very good. Well, thank you both very much for sharing
Thank
with
you.
us and
Thank
getting
you.
the word out, and get your tickets.
Yeah.
It's happening April 7th, 8th, and 9th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, and right here in Macon at the...
Royal Theater
Royal
in
Theater.
downtown Macon. I don't know that we said that, so that's good to get that in.
So,
Donna, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome. It's my
always
pleasure.
helping us.
our pleasure. We always love to help get the word out, and it's a very good community event, so
Thank you very
you're
much.
welcome.